today with Pearce Atkins. He's our city engineer. And today we are at the location of the Chesterfield Street Bridge. It's a very well-traveled area in our city, but recently Public Works took on a stormwater drainage repair project at this location. And Pearce, we just want to talk a little bit about that this morning because this was quite a project to take on.
Certainly, yeah, this was a very challenging project. It was unique in the fact that how do you work a project at the toe of a 35-foot vertical slope safely? And at the bottom of the 35-foot vertical slope, you had a active railroad that you had to deal with. It had to stay in operation. And what had happened over the future, a corrugated metal pipe structure, drainage structure had been installed. It had a riser, corrugated metal pipe riser, 60-inch, and a horizontal 48-inch corrugated metal pipe coming into it years ago. And over the years, the bottom third of the pipe had rusted out. So eventually, it got to the point where the water never entered the horizontal structure. It just cascaded across the dirt and formed a waterfall across a virgin clay material. And of course, over the years, the erosion had moved back, and eventually, uncorrected, we would have lost Chesterfield Street and associated utilities, associated businesses. It was a very difficult repair that had to be made. No option, just absolutely had to be made. Like I say, the first thing, the major challenge is, storm drain repair, dig it up, repair it short. Well, we, just to get in and make the repair again at the bottom of the 35-foot vertical slope, you had to work safely. Numerous things were thought about, and the idea came up to use a soil nail wall, which is a relatively new technology. Soil nails are basically, in engineering terms, but in practical terms, you go in and put drill a horizontal hole, and in this case it was 7 inches in diameter, about 20 foot deep. Insert a rebar, epoxy coated rebar, center it in place, and then come back and inject grout to hold it in, to lock it into the dirt. Okay. The number of rebar and the number of holes was based on geotechnical engineering reports. It roughly ended up to be a grid 5 foot on center of spacing. We went in, drilled the holes, installed the rebar, grouted them, let the grout set, and at that time, after a certain period, we had to go back and literally test a certain number of the anchors, and we actually put a load test on them, recorded, to assure that we had the design strength. All right, so you've got your rebar in place. Now there's actually a cap that's screwed on the end of the rebar. It's a little preparation. Put a cap on the end, and then we went in and put reinforcement grid around each rebar on the face of the vertical wall. Then we put a welded wire fabric vertically across the face. And after all that was in place and checked, we used a shotcrete, which is, people would think of shotcrete as a gunite like you make in a pool, but in this case the process is a little bit different. The strengths are a lot higher, and we literally shot a gunite wall, a vertical slab, and that vertical slab was held in place by the soil nails. Okay, so this gets us to the point we can safely remove the old stormwater structure and make the repair. Now, again, that is the challenge again, and now we're kind of conventional construction. One thing I hadn't mentioned up to this point is that we had a live railroad train in the background to have to deal with, and now we're at the point, again, we've got a vertical wall to protect the workers. We replaced taking the old structure out, put a new structure in. Now we're at what I would call a SHPO challenge. This original railroad cut was dug by slave labor, and in honor of that, SHPO wanted us to more or less repeat and have representative of how it looked when it was built. And over the years, there's a lot of different vegetation grown up, but when it was built, and for years, it was a bare clay surface. So we submitted that to SHPO and basically said we could match the texture of the clay with a pigment in the shotcrete, and they agreed. And from resulting pictures, we've had a lot of good reports that we did a good job. I think our contractor did a good job. I don't claim any of the effort on that. He's the one that did the matching. But again, even we went back and applied that surface and followed the contours around the manhole. And again, this is what you see now, the final surface. One of the things I will add, we were right next to the courthouse, a very busy place. We had 0 complaints from the public while we were working. So
that's very impressive.
Right.
What a feat, not only in the project, but to have the challenge of the very busy area, active railroad, extremely deep slope on a very historic railroad cut. And you really had everything laid out in place, and people who ride by, I doubt even know.
Well, and this thing that I will remind you, York Street Bridge was closed at the time.
Yes.
So we had double the traffic on Chesterfield, and we had an active construction site with trucks coming in and out. So it was a very difficult job. We completed it in 3 months. Again, a very good contractor, very good design team, very good project team. So again, give me another project just like this, and we'll start it tomorrow.
A lot of credit does go to you as the project manager for this, in the coordination of everything that had to be done, and even dealing with our state archives with the SHPO office to ensure that the historical accuracy was correct with the red clay. I guess dealing with the red clay banks, in a sense, was kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah, well, with me, you shoot a panel and hey, it looks good. So actually, Mike Jordan actually made the first color selection on the York Street Bridge.
Very good. Well, that's good to know.
He was acting director at that time.
So
he actually made the first color selection, and we just plagiarized on what they did at York Street.
Well, good decisions have been made, and a lot of great people in this process.
Right.
So this is a topic that is very important in our city, that has been talked about with the stormwater for many years. So I know that this is going a long way to help to correct and alleviate some of the issues down the road.
And the last thing I'll end up with is we ended up somewhat $50,000 under contract amount. So
that's fantastic.
With the number of variables we had to contend with, that was exceptional.
Right.
Okay.
A 3-month project, $50,000 under budget, and a very nice product in the end. So Pearce, thanks for being with us this morning. You gave a wonderful explanation about how this very detailed project came to fruition. So
well, I had a good partner.
We appreciate it, Pearce, anytime you come on. So we thank you, and next time you ride on the Chesterfield Street Bridge, take a notice on the railroad cut of all the wonderful work that Public Works has done. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next time for Aiken This.